What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Nick, and in today's video, we are going to be discussing whether or not it is a better idea financially to buy a used car or a new car. Newer vehicles depreciate at a faster rate. However, older vehicles need more maintenance and repairs. So we're going to be breaking down all the math to figure out which is the best option. The answer might actually shock you, so be sure to watch all the way to the end, and if you watch all the way to the end, I'll be sharing with you some bonus tips on how you could end up with a couple Lambos by the time you retire. So let's get started. To start with, I'm going to be explaining the variables that I'll be using throughout this video. So we're going to say for both cases, we're using cash to buy these vehicles. This way we don't have to try to calculate out what the financing will cost and all those different things. We will say in both cases, you're keeping the vehicle for a total of 5 years. And we're going to say that you were using the same amount of miles per year. And finally, we're going to use the same make and model for both cases. Since there's like hundreds of different cars that you could choose from, I decided to just look up what was the most bought vehicle in 2019. And the answer was a Toyota Camry. It actually sold 337,000 vehicles. That sounds like a lot. The year I'm making this video was 2020, so I went ahead and looked up what the price of a 2020 Toyota Camry is, just like a standard model, and it came out to be just a little over $28,000. I also looked up what the average amount of miles a typical American will drive in a year, and it said that the average was 13,500. So that means in this 5-year period, you'll have driven 67,500 miles. And after doing a little bit of research, I discovered that this vehicle in particular will depreciate by 50% in the first 5 years. So that means that that $28,000 car now goes down to $14,000. This to me sounds absolutely insane. You're just throwing away $14,000 in a 5-year period, but the question still remains, is it going to be cheaper to own a vehicle this way, considering that the repairs and maintenance are minimal? So I went ahead and researched what the maintenance and repairs would cost over a 5-year period for a Toyota Camry, and it came out to be a little over $3,500. This means after a total of 5 years, your $28,000 car turned into a $14,000 car, and on top of that, you had to spend $3,500 to maintain it and make repairs. Now let's see if buying an older vehicle, which will depreciate less, but it will still depreciate, let's see if the maintenance and repairs makes it a better buy or a worse buy. So if we were to buy that same exact car, the 5-year-old Toyota Camry that depreciated all the way down to $14,000, let's say that we just bought that vehicle and we drove it for a period of 5 years, just like the person who bought the brand new one did. And let's also say that we drove it the same amount of miles, 67.5 thousand miles. These are the numbers that it would be. This vehicle would end up depreciating by $6,000, meaning it is now only worth $8,000. And the total amount to maintain this vehicle is $6,900. That's for your standard maintenance and also repairs. This number is much higher than buying it brand new, because an older vehicle just needs more work. It's like common sense. It's an older vehicle, more work. Just like an older human, more medical bills. So now let's actually go ahead and do this math and see if it's better to buy the new or the used. With the new vehicle, you lose $14,000 in depreciation and you had to spend $3,500, which means you came out with like a total loss of basically $17,500. With the older vehicle, you're going to lose $6,000 in depreciation and $6,900 in maintenance and repairs, which is $3,400 higher than the new car. However, this is still only going to be a loss when you add these two numbers together, the $6,000 and the $6,900, it's going to equal $12,900. So this means that buying the 5-year-old vehicle will actually save you $4,600 over a period of 5 years. This number is actually a lot less than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like $8,000 or $9,000 because I really thought that this vehicle would depreciate a lot more. However, there's a hidden cost here that I want to talk to you about. Something that we need to also consider in doing this math. The initial buy-in for the new vehicle was $28,000, and the buy-in for the used vehicle was only $14,000. So if you bought the new vehicle for $28,000 and 5 years later you traded it in or sold it, and then you wanted to buy another new vehicle and it costed the same $28,000, that means in a 5-year period you would actually have to save a total of another $14,000. And that would come out to be saving $233.33 per month. If you would have bought the used vehicle for $14,000, lost $6,000 in depreciation, you could have sold it for $8,000, and then you only need $6,000 to buy another $14,000 vehicle. This means you're only saving $100 a month. So if you stick to buying the older vehicles, this means that you'll basically have an extra $133 a month for the rest of your life, because it's $233 a month to save for the new vehicle and only $100 to save for the old vehicle. So that's a $133 difference. So let's say you start driving this vehicle at 25 and you drive it all the way up to 75. This would mean over that 50-year period of doing $133 a month difference, that's going to be $80,000 you'll save over that 50-year period. But I have an even better idea. Let's say you were to invest that $133 every single month. Let's say you were to do that. Let's say you were to do it into your Roth IRA. Let's say you were to do it into just some standard old mutual funds or index funds or something along those lines. Let's do the math and see where it gets us. So we're going to pull up our handy dandy calculator and we're going to punch in some of these numbers. So if we start out with only $0 as our base, let's say you have no money invested, then you put away $133 every single month for only 35 years. So let's say you're at 25 and you're going all the way up to 60. That's 35 years. Let's say you retire at the age of 60. Let's say you got an average of 10% over that 35-year period, which is totally possible. This means that you would end up with $456,000. Just in case you didn't know, with $456,000, you could buy 2 Lamborghinis. Now, I know that is in the year 2020, and in 35 years from now, the price of a Lambo or a Ferrari or whatever your luxury vehicle is might be ridiculously higher. But, however, I'm sure you won't be mad at me if you have $456K and you had to drive a 5-year-old car for your whole entire life. Because now you could buy 2 Lambos, or you could buy 10 Rolexes, or you could buy a vacation home, or you can give all that money away to the homeless and to the poor, and I'm sure that'd be the best time of your life, because giving is just one of the greatest things that you could do with money. The moral of the story here, what I'm trying to convey to you guys, is that if you be disciplined now, rather than just going out and rushing to get the best things, if you would sacrifice a little bit of luxury now and invest the difference when you're older, because I hate to break it to you, but you're going to get older whether you live a crazy life now or not. It's going to happen. You're going to get older, and if you sacrifice now, you could have a life that you could have never even imagined. And just remember that having all these nice things later in the future is not the goal of life. It's just the fruit of being wise with your money. And those items will never bring you joy or happiness. If you're a miserable person and you get a Lambo, you're still going to be a miserable person. You'll just have a really cool car. Really, the only thing in my life that has brought me a lot of peace, joy, and love is God. I give Him all the credit for that in my life. It's not anything that I physically own or have. So with all that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, be sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications, because I'm going to be making a lot of awesome videos just like this one, talking about managing money, saving money, investing money, basically all things pertaining to money. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great night, and I'll see you next time.